Now, generally speaking, I don't like to use timelines as an age regression technique, unless you know unless you've had quite a bit of experience in NLP, because timeline work is a disassociated process. You actually disconnect from here and float down time. So you need to disassociate. And if you don't reassociate the person to when you're doing the change work with them, they will get a dissociated change, which means it's just something that happened in the head and nothing that really went into experience. So it won't work. Okay, so she's going to say, oh yeah, I did that timeline stuff and the NLP stuff, and nothing ever happened. Didn't work for me. It's because she did these mental gymnastics in her brain. Oh, they floated up and floated down and saw the change and all that kind of stuff. But nothing happens because it wasn't connected to the kinesthetics. So we're going to make sure that when you do timeline technique here, that you will be associated to your change. Some people get certified as timeline therapist and stuff, and there's not all that to it. There really isn't. You got your in time, you got your through time, you got a couple of techniques, and it's not all that complicated. As I said, I don't use them very often, but they are something for the background. Okay, now this is what we're going to do. The technique this technique has to do with decisions. You could use it for other content, but we're going to start with decisions. Sometimes you, as a youth or a young girl or whatever you are, that you've decided, you said, this is what life is going to be like. And you've made a decision at an early age to be a certain way, okay? Oh, when I grow up, I'm never going to get married. My daughter was talking about, the mother was saying, oh, Claire, when you grow up, you're going to get married and go, and goes, oh, no, Mommy, I like it here. I'm never going to leave. And so she's making a decision, right? And so if we didn't stick with her, but she's gone. But you make these decisions when you're little. When I was a little boy, I wanted to grow up. Do you know a Western United States, a cowboy, a sheriff named Wyatt Earp in the United States? You heard about Wyatt Earp? Well, Wyatt Earp was in the late 1800s. He was a sheriff, he was a gunfighter, and he actually lived to a ripe old age and moved to Los Angeles and retired. But he was a historical figure in the wild, wild west of the United States, and there was a television program. Wyatt Earp, anyway, they had the song and everything, and he came up and he was the sheriff and he did things. So I thought he was pretty cool. So I wanted to be like Wyatt Earp, right? The cowboy and things. And I made a decision, okay? And one thing about Wyatt Earp, that he didn't drink. He just drank milk, but he never drank alcohol. So I said, that's cool, that's what I want to be like. And funny thing, when I became a teenager and I went into the Marine Corps, I couldn't stand the taste of alcohol. Even beer was like absolutely revolting, and I had to work really hard to overcome that, because I had to be part of the mate, right? Got to drink the beer. We were the soda pop platoon. We didn't drink beer, but I just wondered if maybe it was because I decided I was not going to drink alcohol when I woke up, that my unconscious mind, created this aversion for it. Anyway, so maybe you grew up and somebody told you, like they did me, Terry, you're not college material. So what? So they stuck me in wood shop to work at the timber, and for 6 years, right? And I fortunately I have a polarity response to that. So, and I do woodworking now as a hobby, so it wasn't lost. But so they told me. So what if I go? Okay, fine. I'll never go to college. Right? And there you go. But then here I am, in my 60s, and I go, I really want to go to college, but I can't really get around to actually going and doing it. And come to find out, it's because I'd made a decision a long time ago, and I'm still acting on that decision. I'm not able to do that. Or, I'm never going to get married, and then you change. Or whatever, the kind of decisions that you made in life that are now limitations. Okay? I'm never going to leave Vienna. I love it here. And then all of a sudden you go, I really like to travel, but I can't really get around to getting that ticket. Okay, so it's something like that. Now, the thing is that when you think you think, okay, well, I think I made a decision X when I was young. You need to know where you made that decision. When I made this decision about Wyatt Earp, I think I was about 7 years old. I was in front of my house where I lived. Didn't have bitumen on the road yet. It was before they surfaced the road. There's a lot of little rocks that they road base. Do you know what I mean? Little rocks. And I was sitting on the gutters. What do you call them here? The little things before you go into the street. Do you call them gutters? When I was sitting there eating rocks. As you would at 6 or 7 years old, right? I mean, what else you do? It's a warm, sunny day, you're bored, you're out in the front of the house, you're eating rocks. Okay? And I had this thought, I want to be just like Wyatt Earp. And spit it out. And so that's the incident. So if I was doing this technique, I would go back to that exact situation when I made that decision. Okay, I can see it's crystal clear. It was a warm, sunny day. The telephone pole, the big timber was sitting right there. I was sitting down, eating rocks, thinking about Wyatt Earp. So we need to find for you an event, okay, just like that when you made your decision. Okay, so first thing is, this is the decision I want to make. Okay. Choose decision and then decide what you want to change it to. Okay? This is the decision I made. I want to change it to do this. If I made a decision I would never go to college, I may change it to I want to go to college or university. Get an idea? If I made a decision that I'm never going to be a jet pilot, you may change your mind. You may not get there, but at least you change your mind and you can start the test. Okay, so what decision you made, what you want to change it to. Okay, put that aside. Okay, then break out your submodality list. Okay. Now, we have a term, you probably have no idea what that says, but it says cast in stone decision. Okay? Think of a decision you made that in your life that was a really great decision, it's rock solid. Okay? I made a decision to have 2 children. Okay? I'm really happy I made that decision. I love my kids. That thing is locked in stone. Okay? I made a decision to move to Australia in 1982. Okay, great decision, locked in. Okay, both of those decisions have very solid, strong, resonant submodalities. Okay, so that's what you want to find, a great, cast in stone decision you've made, and then the person who's going to be with you, you're going to say, okay, have you made a decision like that, something that's cast in stone? Okay, what about you, Barbara?
Yeah, several.
Well, okay, just think of one.
I will never be dependent on a man financially.
Okay, now, so how do you know you made that decision?
Well,
Okay, so she goes here, okay? Right? She looks there, I go, great. What is it? I will then elicit all of her submodalities of that decision. Get the idea? So I now have a list of submodalities we have a list of submodalities of Barbara's cast in stone decision. So I want, just like your list, these, A, K, okay? Just like the motivation. Had you made a good decision before? Cast in stone? Yes. What is it? Okay. And how do you know it's good? There it is. Okay. It's in front. 2 feet, it's in color, sounds, da-da-da, write down all those things. Okay? When you have all that information in, okay, that you have the decision that you want to change, what you want to change it to, and you have elicited the submodalities of a cast-in-stone decision, then come back here, and then I'll teach you how to install that, okay? This is elicitation. Phase 2 is installation. All I want you to do is to gather the information.
Question. The cast-in-stone decision, does that need to, is that a decision that has to be made prior to the, what you want to change? Or
No,
can it be
it can be
later?
any time during your life.
You can have made a decision that's limiting yourself, and then the cast-in-stone decision could be 10, 15 years later.
Yeah, it's a separate component altogether. Separate component altogether. That's it. Okay, come back here.
The decision that's limiting me could be made, like, I don't know, three days ago,
No, it's got to be
Well,
something that,
not really-
it's a
really
past
the
thing,
past
a
part.
past thing,
a
yeah.
couple of years ago,
Long time ago,
not long.
long time ago.
But what if I can't remember?
Try. Ask your unconscious mind. Think about things you'd like to do, but you're not doing it because maybe something had happened in the past that you decided.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we're not talking about a bad decision you made in the past, because at one time it was a good decision. But right now you want to change that, but it's still operating as the decision you made. So we're not looking at good and bad decisions. We're looking at an old decision that you made in the past, which was good at the time, but now you're still acting on that and you want to change it.